Hello to everyone out there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Immigration Talk Show, and warm welcome to each one of you. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Our handle is at Immigration Talk Show. And before we head on with today's discussion, I have this important disclaimer. And that is by watching our videos, you agree and understand that the information provided by our experts and attorneys, including comments and replies from users, is not legal advice. Use of information is at your own risk. So keep that in mind, friends, throughout this whole session. And let me tell you, I'm Nipasa, and I'm going to be a host for this webinar that's lined up with none other than our guest for today, Attorney Prashanthi Reddy from the law offices of Prashanthi Reddy, and over almost 3 years, 3 decades of experience in immigration law. So it's going to be great to have her here because we're going to discuss about the June 2025 Visa Bulletin. And it's interesting. Some dates have moved, some dates haven't. But nonetheless, we are going to discuss the Visa Bulletin. So without further ado, please help me welcome Attorney Prashanthi Reddy on Immigration Talk Show. Hi, Prashanthi.
Hi, Nipasa. How are you?
I'm doing good, Prashanthi, and it's always good to have you. So lovely to see you today as well.
Same here.
So I think yes, it's very exciting to see the visa bulletin. Sometimes not because the dates have not moved, but I think we should just go right into it. And I have a few questions also. So maybe you would like to say anything before we start?
Yeah, we will definitely take up questions from the audience. It's just an indication of, I think the present visa priority is an indication of what is going to happen the rest of the year. I think it's a good indication. We'll go into more detail with reference to the different categories and an overview of the visa bulletin and touch upon family a little bit, but mostly on employment-based cases because there's more movement on employment based cases, though not for certain countries. So we can go into that more in detail.
Yes, for sure. And as you all know, friends, that the visa bulletin comes out in the middle of every month for the next month. So today we are going to discuss the June visa bulletin. And please feel free to join us. Whether you can also comment. We are live right now on YouTube and also on X. So check us out, and also on Facebook, by the way. Wherever you're watching us, don't forget to comment. And best thing is you can also call us in this number, the line number 425-406-6335, and the access code is 988-888. So join us, and let's dive right into the questions now, Prashanthi. So, for EB2 India, the final action date is still stuck at January 2013. So that's a long wait time, almost 12 years. And why has there been no movement for so long, and what could speed this up, really?
So, Nipasa, shall we first go through what the visa bulletin says? I think we need to do that first
Sure, we
before we
can do
go into
that.
specifics, right?
Yeah,
Just to
let's
see
do that.
what's the movement, what happened in the June visa bulletin, and then we can go into specific questions about why certain categories moved or didn't move.
Yes.
What do you think?
Sure, sure, we can do that. So let's go ahead then. Should we start with the employment based category or the family based?
Let's look into the entire visa bulletin. Let's start with the employment based, and I am sharing my screen.
Sure.
Can you see it? Can you see my screen, Nipasa?
Yes, now we can see. So go ahead. Go ahead, Prashanti.
So, with reference to the visa bulletin this month, we're seeing, and I'll just give you some highlights. We see some forward movement for China, EB2. Actually, just to step back a little bit, for the employment based, let's talk about employment based category first. Employment based category, they're looking at the final action date table. So let's just talk about the final action date table for employment based categories. For China, EB2, there's an advancement of 2 months, as you can see. China is now December 1, 2020. And For EB3, it's moved up by 3 weeks. As you can see, the EB3 China, it's moved to again November 22nd, 2020. All employment based final action date categories EB2, EB3, EB1 all remain the same as last month. So there's no change at all in EB1. India, it remains at February 15, 2022. EB2 remains at Jan 13, 2001. EB3 remains at April 2013, April 15, 2013, as you can see in the Visa Bulletin. Um, Final action dates for the remaining countries all advanced by almost 4 months in the EB2 category. So all other countries, that includes worldwide, like you see here, all of the other category areas except those listed. But if you look at this category, the first column, as well as Mexico and Philippines, everything has really advanced similarly. So all other countries advanced by 4 months in the EB2 category and 5 weeks, that is 4 months and 1 week in the EB3 category. Now, coming to EB5, which is the investor visa category, China remains the same, January 22, 2014. India remains at May 1, 2019. And all other countries remain current. The EB5 set aside categories for everyone, all other countries also remain current. If you remember, the EB5 retrogressed for India last month, so it continues to be the same. Also, with reference to EB4 category, which is basically religious worker category, as you can see, it's all U. U pretty much means unavailable, C means current. It's unavailable because all the visa numbers are over, and visa numbers will become, green card numbers will become available October 1st of this year, which counts as the new fiscal year. And as I said already, USCIS is looking at the final action date table for employment-based category. Now, going to family-based, USCIS is looking at the dates for filing category. Let me go to family-based. I think I just skipped that. We're looking this time at the dates for filing category. This is the table. And they've been continuing to look at dates for filing category. Dates for filing table pretty much means that they're allowing you to file the family-based applications in advance before the actual availability. The final action date table talks about the actual availability. So they're allowing you to file a few months in advance because they think that by the time the cases are processed, your dates may become current. So they're allowing you to file ahead of time. So in this category, the only change from last month is in the F4 category for India. That's the only change. F4 category for India has moved by 2 months to, if you look at that, to December 2006. From October, it moved to December. So it moved by 2 months. That's the only change in the family-based category. What predictions? Do you want to talk about predictions now, or do you have a separate question for that, Nipasa?
Sure, I mean, so you can, if you wish, you may. And otherwise, I do have my questions and we can go one by one, to different
Sure,
categories
we
if you
can
wish
talk
also.
about predictions then a little later. If your questions don't cover it, then we can always. I know you've gathered a lot of questions from the audience, and if no one asks about predictions, then just remind me before the end of the show. We'll talk about what to expect
What we can expect.
moving forward. And
Sure,
I will
sure, Prashant.
stop sharing now. There you go.
Well, that was very interesting. And I know, friends, sometimes these dates make us excited and sometimes not so excited. But I think it's always good to remain hopeful, nothing to be too sad about. But also, I'll just say hi to Peter, Alicia, and yeah, Peter and Alicia for joining us. And thank you so much for your questions, your comments. We are going to take each one of them. And yeah, just stay with us. Or should we just say, Peter is saying EB3 for Philippines, big jump next month. What do you have to say for that?
He's saying predicting a big jump next month, or what is not showing? It's not sure what he's saying, or maybe he's predicting it. Are you talking about July? I hope there is a big jump. Of course, we have to wait and see what happens. Um, but again, that goes into my predictions, and let's wait on that.
Yes, we will. And Alicia is also asking something, so let's take it. Hey, Nipasa. Hi, Alicia. Thank you again for joining. With the way things are going with India and the whole per country cap, do you think the US government will ever actually increase the number of green cards they issue to countries with big backlogs? Or do you think we're just stuck in this limbo for good?
My guess is
Well,
as good as yours. We don't know for sure. There have been several bills every year. Bills get introduced, but they don't get passed. Eagle Act is one of those bills. But presently, with the way the, because the administration is kind of hard on immigration, we're not expecting any benefits, but you never know. Maybe they will surprise us. And so I'm just hoping for the best.
yes, absolutely. We are all, I think, Prashanti, and it's always good to be this way, but also be prepared for the worst. We never know. So have your plan B, plan C, or whatever possible. Okay, keep options, I would say. So also, Catherine says, hi, Nipasa and Prashanti. Thanks for the live show. Thank you so much, Catherine, for joining us. So, she's asking a very interesting question, and I think we should pick this up right now because it could be helpful for other folks as well. So, I'm really confused about the whole dates for filing versus date final action dates thing. Which one do I need to look at for my adjustment of status? I always get mixed up about which chart applies where.
So if you look at the Visa Bulletin, it will say which chart you need to look at for um, every month. And if you want me to share it again, let me just share it and then show you. But this is the PDF version. But every month, when if you look at the Visa Bulletin, it will say exactly um, for employment based as well as for family based. There'll be a link that you can click on, and once you click on that link, it will take you here. You click on this link, and it will take you to the USCIS website. There you go, it did. And then when you go to the USCIS website, then you go to current months, and then next month. We have to go to next month because what we care about is June. And then here it says for family sponsored filings, for all family sponsored preference categories, you must use the date for filing chart. They give you instructions here, so it's nothing for us to guess or to be confused about. We just have to go click on that link at the Visa Bulletin. It'll take you here to the USCIS website. So it says for the month of June, family based, you look at dates for filing website, dates for filing chart. For employment based, you look at final action date chart. So it's as simple as that.
Well, thank you so much, Prashanti. I'm sure that was very helpful and good question, Catherine. Thank you so much. But I think the problem is with people who don't like to read too much text. I think they give up just in the first instance or just scroll. They're so used to not reading or things being so easily put up to them. So I think this is what happens. So I would suggest to read properly. And I'm sure there's nothing so much to guess, just like Prashanti has said, all the instructions are there clearly given. So let's follow up. And Prashanti. So now I think I should take up some of my questions, and we will take up Peter's questions sometime later because they are prediction questions, I can see. So we will
I just
quickly,
want to confirm, have I stopped sharing?
yes, you have.
Okay, good. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So, Prashanti, my question, let me come back to it. So, for EB2 India, the final action date is still stuck at January 2013. So, why has there been no movement for so long? And what could speed up this, whole thing?
Well, the only chance of it anything being sped up is if the demand for EB2 becomes less, or if Department of State works some magic and increases the number of visas available, or if the legislature does something to increase the number of visas. Um, that's the only way, really, that visa numbers will become available. Or if the demand in other countries becomes less and that trickles down to India, that's also a possibility of, that's also how, the dates can move forward.
Yes. Thank you, Prashanti. And I know sometimes we have so many ideas, but like bills also, they never get passed. So there are so many folks, so many groups of friends out there who have a lot of ideas on how to help this whole backlog thing, but nothing really, nothing solid as yet. So we just have to stay hopeful for now. And the next question for you, Prashanti, is we've noticed the EB5 set aside category for India are still current. So, what does that mean, and who should be looking into those options right now?
Anyone who's interested in filing entrepreneurial visa, which is EB5, and if they're in those set aside categories, that is, if they are providing employment in areas which have low employment and which are considered to be, TEAs, target employment areas, and you have to go to each state website to see whether they are, uh, low, not low income, but uh, if there's less jobs available there. So if you set up a business there, um, then you can take advantage of the fact that the visa numbers are current. And even though the processing time for EB5 is quite long, it's taking about 3 years just to process it once you file. But at least after the processing time is over, by then, if the visa number is still available, you can at least get a temporary green card. And you can, if you're in the country, you can file for adjustment, or if you're outside the country, you can get a temporary green card and come in and get the green card issued to you here, and then file for a permanent green card um, after the waiting period.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Prashanti, for taking that up. And well, my next question for you, for many countries, the EB2 and EB3 show minor progress. And do you think this slow pace will continue through the rest of the year as well?
So we might as well go into my predictions then. So for June, basically the month of June marks the beginning of the final quarter in this fiscal year, because the fiscal year gets over in September, and the Department of State issues, cutoff dates on a quarterly basis, so that they can increase the green card issuance volume before the end of the year. So usually in the final quarter, you'll see there'll be some cutoff dates. The June bulletin, just to give you a recap, it shows a minimum forward movement, especially in oversubscribed areas such as EB2 and EB3 for India. Partly, I guess, due to the annual limit for visa numbers, and also for EB1, we're not seeing any change, even though demand is still high. I guess that's why we don't see any change. But it just shows that Department of State is tightly controlling the number of visas being allocated. Um, and also there's delay, there's increased demand, of course, and that's why there is um, not much forward movement, and also administrative delays on 485. That could also cause not much forward movement, because the 485 adjustment of status cases are not being adjudicated quickly enough. Another point to keep in mind is this is the fifth consecutive month that USCIS has opted for the final action date table to be used for employment-based cases. This also shows that there's a very high demand. They're not allowing you to file um, adjustment adjustment of status in advance because they don't expect the visa numbers to move forward, and that's why they're using the final action date table. So unless visa demand decreases or Department of State takes some proactive steps in July through September, I think many backlogged applicants, especially from India, may see little change. However, applicants in rest of the world, Mexico and Philippines, have a more favorable outlook, and they might see some forward movement this summer. So that's my prediction for next month and moving forward as well.
Thank you so much, Prashanthi. And I think that does it answer Peter's question, or we should just quickly pick it up?
I think it
He was
answers his
saying,
question.
yes, yes. He's saying, I'll just read the comments. He was saying, yes, predicting for July. And do you see any looming retrogression before the end of the fiscal year? So there
Yes,
you go.
it's possible that there might be some retrogression as well. We are talking about no forward movement, but it could be worse than that, which is retrogression. We saw that EB5 India got retrogressed last month. So there is a possibility of retrogression, and it usually happens towards the end of the fiscal year, so August, September. But usually it
Mhm.
bounces back in October. So even if there is retrogression, I think it'll be temporary, and then it'll hopefully just bounce back to where it was.
Okay. It's interesting how the visa bulletin works, and I know all these years of experience, Prashanti. Is there anything significant that you've seen earlier, that you want to talk about?
I'm sorry, significant?
Significant, as in like has it always been like this, slow, or it's
Um,
been?
in the previous years, I mean, we saw that during COVID, because the consulates were closed, we saw in 2020, suddenly visa numbers became available for both EB2, EB3 India.
Mhm.
And we filed literally hundreds of applications, we filed thousands by, if you count the total number of applications we filed for India EB2 and EB3, because suddenly I think in October it was of 2020, visa numbers became available. So unless an event such as that happens, and I've seen that happen a few years ago also, and I don't know why exactly it happened then, but this
Mhm.
was obviously due to a healthcare crisis. So twice in my career, I've seen sudden jump in forward movement, and that is not saying much because I've been an attorney for many years now. Um, but I'm hoping again the law with reference to improving the number of visas available, especially for backlog countries, has been pending for years now, and nothing has been done. Though there's been a lot of talk um, by the legislative and by senators and congressmen that something should be done, but they're not able to get enough votes, or there's too much vote on party line, and neither party wants the other party to succeed or pass a bill that has not been passed for years and get the credit of it. And present administration, I don't think, wants to see any new people becoming green cards or citizens. So um, unlikely to happen. But again, I'm keeping my fingers crossed because we also saw with the present administration that things change suddenly and
Yes.
take a 365 degrees about turn. So let's hope for that this about turn is a good one. I'm still hopeful, and let's wait and see.
Yes, but let's not hope for any more pandemics. I mean, I don't want to go back to not traveling or being stuck at home for too long, and that whole anxiousness
And
grows
that's
so
only the
much.
least of it, right? It's the
Yes.
number of people that unfortunately were
Yes.
victims of the pandemic. That's even worse. So
What
yeah,
is
definitely. Let's hope for something good, like a legislative change,
yeah.
and that should take care of the problem. Hopefully, something that will take care of the problem permanently.
Sure, sure, Prashanthi. And also now let's take up more comments as we go. So Alicia is back again saying, so say my priority date finally becomes current. How long does it actually take from that point to get everything processed and approved? Is there a chance for more delays once I'm ready to file, or should I expect things to move smoothly after that?
So even after you file, you can expect delays. What fun! But yes, you can expect delays. It's the processing time for a 485 is 12 to 18 months, but under the present administration, we can expect more lengthier processing times because that's what happened under the previous, under the previous government when they were in party last time as well. So let's hope that doesn't happen, but we're expecting it to happen because they're not focusing so much on benefits and on how to get things moving faster and hiring more people, etc. So yes, you can expect delays, and the problem with these priority dates is that they don't always stay constant. So while your priority date might have been available when the month that you filed, since it's taking 18 months, a year and a half or longer, while your case is being processed, your priority date could become unavailable or could retrogress. So then your 485 could just be pending for months to or years together, and you may not get the green card. So that's a very good possibility. So you should just hope that it becomes available so that you can file, and at least you'll be in adjustment of status in that status, and that's not a bad status to be in because then you can work for any employer on EAD. You're not stuck with working with one employer. Of course, your green card has to continue to be processed by that employer, and if you're moving the green card processing to another employer, there's an option of filing AC-21. So there's some options and some flexibilities to change employers, um, even while you're waiting for your priority date to become available and you filed for adjustment. So, at least you can hope to be in that kind of status. And once you file, your children do not age out anymore as long as they filed when they were under 21. If you don't file because your visa number is not available, then they age out. So there are many advantages of at least being able to file adjustment. So yeah, these are the constraints and hurdles that you'll have, unfortunately, moving forward.
Thank you, Prashanthi, for taking that up for Alicia. And thank you, Alicia. Interesting questions. Now we have Ranyan asking, can we do court case for USCIS error denial for 485 ABC delay in MTR as we have only 180 days to get it approved?
He's using a lot of acronyms. Yes,
MT
MTR, I understand USCIS. So there's a USCIS error and the 485 has been denied,
delayed.
uh, and denied. I-485 has been denied, and then there is a delay in the motion to reopen. Uh, Not sure why they have 180 days to get it approved. Might be something there. Um, I don't know why, but yeah, as long as your motion to reopen is pending, uh, you can continue to remain in the country, but you cannot work on EAD. Uh, can I file a? Yes, you can definitely file a litigation. You can file a mandamus application asking USCIS to give a response on your MTR. I would do that only if the MTR has been pending for a year or 2 years, and that is beyond the processing time. Otherwise, the judge may not approve uh,
Mhm.
or give you the benefit that you're seeking.
Okay. Thank you, Prashanthi, and thank you, Ranyan, for your question.
And also,
Now, yeah.
before you file litigation, you should, of course, do everything possible to follow up with USCIS to find out the status of your case as well.
Okay. So, all the best, Ranyan, I would say. Thank you, Prashanthi, once again for taking that up. And Peter is back once again asking any news for any legislative action, US actions in US Congress.
Um, Not related to visa number availability. Of course, the budget is a big thing, and they might try to put in some legislature into the budget, but it's a mess right now. Everything they're talking about. There's also an introduction of a law where they're seeking to remove OPT completely, but that's unlikely to be passed, I think. So there's always something or the other, um, some bill or the other introduced in the legislature, but we don't pay attention to it until it actually comes up for vote. So nothing as of now.
Okay. Thank you, Peter, once again. And now we have Curve asking I just had a family be detained and is in custody in ICE immigration. What do I do next besides calling a lawyer?
I think you should call a lawyer first, because the first thing you need to do is and of course the lawyer has to be practicing in your county because they have to make an appearance,
Yes.
and have to apply for a bail. That's the first thing that you do. Produce a bond, apply for a bail so that the person at least can be, the family can be taken out of detention. That's what you want to do. And then, of course, then it takes its course. We don't know why they've been detained. Maybe they're out of status. If they're out of status, there's not much that can be done. But if you're not detained, then you can ask for voluntary departure and leave that way and not be removed from the country. And that will allow you to at least not be barred from coming back into the country for 10 years. Because if you are removed, then you'll be barred from coming back. But if you
Correct.
voluntarily leave, then you can ask for the judge for bail and then for voluntary departure. So those are the two release available for you if you are out of status.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Prashanthi, for taking this up for Curve. And all the
Unless
best.
you get married to a US citizen or you have a US citizen immediate relative, then it's possible that even if you're out of status, you can file for a family-based petition, or you can ask for asylum, though they have not really giving any asylum. They're not approving any asylum cases right now. But
Mhm.
there are a few options available for you, and those are some of them.
Okay. Thank you, Prashanthi, for taking that up. And Kurv, thank you again for participating. Ranyan says thank you for answering my question, and Peter also says thank you. So thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone, for joining us with your questions. Keep commenting if you have more questions. And for Prashanthi, I have questions also. So let's come back to it. And the EB4 category is marked unauthorized for across
It's
many
actually
countries.
unavailable. Actually, it's unavailable.
Sorry, unavailable, yes. And can you explain what it means and when we might see a change?
I think we discussed this. EB4 category
Yes.
is unavailable because all the green card numbers have been used up for this year. Excuse me. So you have to wait until, because every year certain number of green cards are issued. So that's already used up. So you have to wait until October for the new numbers to be issued, and that's when it will become available again.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Prashanti, for that. And my next question is, for F2A, the family base category, which covers spouses and kids for green card holders, the filing date is now February 2005. Does this mean processing will finally speed up for this group?
Processing is different from the visa number availability,
2020.
right?
Mhm.
Of course, processing overall, you'll get your green card faster since you're allowed to now file for adjustment of status. But remember, this is based on the dates for filing tables. So really, you're not going to get your green card any faster. It's just that you'll be able to file a 485 and remain in 485 status. And if you're outside the country, you cannot use dates for filing table. Remember that. You have to use the final action date table. And that's not February 2025. That is January 2022. So, that's the problem there.
Okay.
So processing, no, not doesn't won't really speed up, but it'll allow you to get into a maybe safer status where you will then be in queue uh, and will have to wait for the visa number for you to become available. But at least you'll be able to file for adjustment and be in a pending 485 status.
Okay. Well, thank you, Prashanti, and this makes us hopeful somehow. So, yeah, let's go on. I have more questions, and this next one is, the F4 category for siblings of US citizens is showing dates from back in 2000s, 2005, 2006, some of them. And why does this category move so slowly?
Yeah, because that's always oversubscribed. Uh, s- Children of US citizens and is always backlogged because of the demand. Because obviously more people qualify as siblings than they of citizens because there are more siblings. You can only have two parents, right? So I guess I don't know, but I guess I don't know why, but it's always oversubscribed the siblings category. So that's not news for us. It's not something that we're surprised about.
Okay. So for dates like these, no, Prashanti, like 2000s, how, like, what if there are people who got deceased because of disease, health issues, the pandemic
Yeah,
in
so then
between?
they automatically the case gets denied.
Do we have to I mean, how does it get
Yeah,
recorded?
I guess you have to notify the consulate that the case is closed.
Okay, okay.
In some
All right.
instances, you can continue processing the case, but I think that's there is some law which allows you to continue processing the case, but that's only I think if a 485 is pending,
Okay.
not just if the I-130 is pending or approved. The adjustment of status application should be pending, and for that, of course, your visa number has to become available. So for these guys whose visa number is not available, who have just filed an I-130, to the best of my knowledge or what I remember is that uh, if the principal or if the applicant or the petitioner uh, passes away, then the case just gets denied.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Prashanti. I think that was a good one. And we do have follow up questions from Quirv. Let's take it. Let's take them. Following my last question, it was my father who was detained because of his status. Is there no solution to the situation considering he has been in the country for over 25 years, pays his taxes? He never had any issues with the police, and can the relative be a son? He's turning 21.
So the past administration would not have bothered him because there's prosecutorial discretion. They have the discretion to prosecute or to detain and deport or remove whoever they want to, and the previous administration only concentrated on criminals. But the present administration seems to want to remove everyone, whoever is out of status. So that's unfortunately a political thing, and not much we can do about who they choose to remove from the country. So that's what's happening in your father's case. Even though he has not been charged of any crime, they are still removing him or wanting to remove him from the country. Um, I mean, he can apply for asylum if there's any issues in his home country, but again, there is restriction on asylum because if he's been here for so many years, then he may not be able to do that. So uh, he could also apply for an immediate relative petition I-130 once his son turns 21, who can then sponsor him. So you have to wait until the son turns 21 for him to be able to sponsor his father. And if that happens, then you can possibly approach the judge, ask for the I-130 petition to be filed or file it outside of the court, and then take the approval to the judge or take a receipt to the judge and ask if the case can be administratively closed. Again, all this is difficult under the present administration. The judges also have been given strict orders to give decisions in a certain way. So unfortunately, people may not look that kindly upon his application, but I think it's a good thing to file an I-130 once his son turns 21. Adjustment of status also can be filed if he was not in proceedings. If you're in proceedings, then the adjustment has to be filed before the judge, or there has to be an agreement between the TA and the TA has to agree, and both parties have to agree to administratively close,
Mhm.
and you have to get a signature and then present it to the judge, and then the judge will close the proceedings so that they can file for adjustment with USCIS. That's the process.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Kur, for your questions, and Prashanti for taking them up also. And we have another question. This is from our WhatsApp. Ritika is asking, so I've been waiting in the EB3 line for what feels like forever, and the June 2025 Visa Bulletin shows just a couple of weeks movement. So is that even worth being excited about, or should I just accept that it's going to take years more? And it's really hard to stay hopeful when the dates barely budge.
Correct. I don't know if you're able to. I mean, EB2 is even more backlogged, but people are keep switching from EB2 to EB3, or some people have two I-140s if you qualify for both. And then you can just look at both dates, EB3 as well as EB2, and see which one is moving ahead. You could also try to see if you qualify for EB1. Extraordinary ability, either you do or you don't, because not everyone has extraordinary ability, right? But it's possible that you might qualify for multinational executive if you are working for a multinational company and you spend 1 year outside the country and you qualify as an executive, then you can come in on an EB1, and the EB1 dates will be current maybe if you quote it from your EB3 date, because they're not too backlogged. So that is definitely a way of overcoming the visa bulletin backlog. Otherwise, as we were discussing, we don't see anything in the horizon now, but we're always hopeful.
Yes, yes, we are. Well, thank you. And also, like, let's come to the DV visa, diversity visas also, 2025. The numbers, they are out. And what does it mean, if someone's case number is above the regional cutoff? Do they lose their chance?
Well, DV visas is a lottery process. And, to be honest, I'm not very familiar with the DV visas. So, let's go. I don't want to give information. I have half knowledge of it. So I don't want to give information on it.
No worries, Prashanti, and thank you so much. Well, we do have Sid Mohan join us with the question, so let's take them up. And also Oduro. So, hi, Oduro and Sid. Thank you for joining us here. And, friends, if you're enjoying, you're resonating with all these questions, answers, and you find this in a session very informative, please do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Our handle is at Immigration Talk Show. And also hit that bell icon so that you will be notified whenever we have sessions like these. So yes, Sid Mohan is saying, "Hello, if I change my residential address through my USCIS account, is that enough, or do I still need to file a AR11 form? The USCIS account doesn't show the address under the profile settings.
Under the my profile settings.
My profile.
No, you should by law also do an AR11, and just to be safe, you should also call USCIS and make sure that your change of address has been noted, especially if you have a pending petition. You want to make sure that you get that approval or the receipt to your current address. But if you don't have anything pending, do an AR11, get a confirmation, and then you're done with it.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much for taking that up for Sid Mohan. Now let's go to Oduro. Please, EB3 row movement was expected next month, July bulletin, but the movement came in June. Do you think it will move again next month as it is the next quarter?
Yeah, so if there is any numbers available, then they will try now to finish those numbers because they want to make sure that all the numbers are used up. So it really depends on whether there are numbers or not. If there are no numbers, then you won't see. You might see just a marginal forward movement, and they keep moving it a little bit every month. If they see that the demand is, they'll look at the number of cases, I-140 cases that have been approved, and see what the demand is, and that's how they decide, as you know already, based on the total number of green card numbers available, 140,000, right? They'll see how many have been used up, how many are in row, in line, how many I-140s are approved, and then they decide on how to move it forward. But we do expect some forward movement for EB3 rest of the world, so I'm expecting that there will be forward movement in July and August as well.
Me too, me too. Thank you so much, Prashanti, for taking that up. And I think it'll be so nice, especially if Curve or, you tell us where you're joining us from, because sometimes your questions would also depend on which state you're joining us from. So, but yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for your questions. And Prashanti, I still have a couple more. So, yeah, if someone's priority date is finally current, what is the next immediate step that they should, take to avoid delays?
If your priority date is current, you will know that the month before. So, what you should do is get your medicals done immediately because that could take time. You should make sure you have your birth certificates in line. If you don't have it, then get them because that takes time. Make sure you have an unexpired passport because if it's expired, then that's a problem because that takes time. Keep all these ready so that as soon as the July comes or that particular month when it becomes available, that starts, then you can immediately file your adjustment. I would in fact ask you to contact your attorney um, as soon as you know that it's becoming available so that they can tell you what documents are needed, review your documents to see if they're good or if something needs to be changed, and they can even start working on your forms and get it out in the first week of the following month. So it's always a good idea to do things in advance.
Always is, always. So Sid Mohan asking another question is just, he or she says, "Thanks for the reply. And just to follow up on the AR11 form for change of address, can it be submitted online or do I have to download the PDF, fill it, and post it to USCIS?"
It can be submitted online.
Okay. Now let's take Sarmad's question. Do you expect major forward movement for EB2 row in upcoming months? For which country? That would be important to
Row, that
know.
is rest of the world. So basically,
Rest of the world, yeah.
EB2 is more in demand than EB3 as we're seeing. So the EB2 forward movement might be a little less than the EB3 forward movement.
Okay. Thank you, Sarmad, for your question, and thank you, Prashanti, for taking it up. So we do have some Facebook questions from our groups as well, and I would really ask Control to please, display them. So meanwhile, I have another question for you. So Prashanti, any strategies or lesser known pathways for people stuck in, long EB2, EB3 backlogs to consider for faster green card options?
Well, we discussed that a little bit. See if you qualify for EB1. Um, Exceptional ability might be difficult, but if you are a researcher, if you've published, or if you have exceptional ability in a certain field, then definitely EB1 could help you. Otherwise, most people can qualify for EB1 um, multinational executive if you work as an executive in a multinational company from the past 1 year out of the last 3 years. And that way you could come in on an EB1, and that's, EB1 processing times are much better than EB2 and EB3. You might have to sacrifice a year and stay outside the country if you don't already qualify. but it's possible to get qualified now. Uh, so a lot of Indian nationals are doing that, and that's why you see there's a backlog for EB1 as well. So those are the things that I would do. Try to see if there's an alternative. Also, EB5 is also an alternative. If you want to invest in the US, you can go into EB5 category, especially if you're investing in an underserved area. You could do that as well. Um, so yeah, these are some alternatives to the EB2 and EB3. Also, family-based cases. If you know get married to a US citizen, if you have immediate relatives who are US citizens, you could go through the family-based option instead of going through employment-based. So good to look at all your options.
Yes, I think it's very good to have plan A, plan B, at least two plans, and then yeah, move ahead. So thank you so much, Prashanti, for taking that question up as well. And we do have like our Facebook questions ready, so let's take them up. Control, please. So hello guys, my I-140 was approved recently. Can I get B1, B2 visa with family?
It's hard if your I-140 is approved, you have an immigrant visa petition approved, there is an intent to immigrate. If you apply for a B1, B2 visa outside the country, there is a question as to whether you've ever applied for an immigrant visa. You have to say yes, and that will sometimes the consulate will surprise you, but mostly they will that will work against you. You have to show that you have no intention of immigrating.
Okay. Thank you for taking that up. And now our next question is from an anonymous one as well. Hi everyone, I have a pending application for I-130 and now I am doing a second application for my sibling. There is a question, where was the petition filed? City or town? What should I write there?
Um, where was it filed? So look at the service center where it was filed. It should be on your receipt, and then just mention that.
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you, Prashanti, for taking that up. And now this next one is also from an anonymous participant saying, I need advice. My F1 was rejected in March. My cybersecurity with MS
Yes.
cybersecurity with emphasis on data analytics from Webster
Microsoft,
University.
Microsoft Cybersecurity.
So now I want to apply for second attempt, but I don't want to change the university as this course is offered by Webster with my interested course outline and bought even offered in my home country. Please give advice what to do.
Let me just read it again so that I understand. His F1 visa was rejected, and that he has basically cybersecurity and data analytics, which is not relevant.
Yeah.
I want to apply for another visa another time, but he doesn't want to change the university because he likes this course. Um, uh, okay, and this course is not offered in his home country. I mean, all this is irrelevant. The only question that is relevant here is that his visa got rejected once. Is it possible for him to apply again? Yes, it is. It really depends on why your visa was rejected.
Mhm.
If it is something to do with the university, then you obviously don't want to apply through the same university. It can't be anything related to the course that is negative, because it usually isn't.
Mhm.
It could be either university, or it could be that you're not able to show the intention to not to immigrate. So it could be an intent issue, or it could be the university issue. So it really depends on why it was rejected, and you want to overcome those grounds for rejection. It doesn't matter. Nothing else matters really. You just have to see why they rejected it and try to overcome those grounds.
Yes. Absolutely. Thank you so much again, Prashanti, for taking that up. And this is my next question. My spouse is the beneficiary, and I'm the US citizen petitioning to adjust status for my husband. Has anyone experienced the following? My husband came into the US in 2008 as a minor without inspection. So he doesn't fall under 245 I.
I
I. And has anyone experienced this? What did you do? I will be speaking with a lawyer on Monday, but I'm curious if anyone has gone through this and still was able to adjust status. Thank you.
Well, yeah, a lot of people go through this, and this your immigration attorney should be able to tell you what to do. But in general, if you have entered without inspection, you don't qualify to file for a green card, even though you have a U.S. citizen spouse. You have to file a waiver, and once the waiver is approved, only then will you be able to file for adjustment. So it's a two-step process.
Okay. And now we'll take up our last question from this anonymous member. My friend E2 visa application was denied as a result of a change of status within the USA from L1A to E2. Sorry. Upon denial, he discovered that his attorney had misfiled the application, making numerous grammatical mistakes and failing to give him the opportunity to renew his case. So,
Review,
claiming
yeah.
that time was short and they needed to file, after waiting for a year, he finally learned about his visa denial. The attorney submitted the wrong business plan, which does not align with his skills. When he reached out to the attorney to express his concerns instead of addressing them, the attorney sent threatening emails warning him that if he pursued action against him, they would file restraining orders, drag him out to court, and repeatedly told him to leave the US, stating that he was out of status. He has now filed a notice of appeal stating the facts and submitting relevant letters. What other options does he have? Please advise. He is extremely worried and feels helpless.
Well, yes, he's done the right thing. He's filed an appeal, a motion to reopen or an appeal. Unfortunately, if there is information submitted which is contradictory, so one document contradicts the other document, then USCIS will think that it's not bona fide documents that are being submitted and there is no bona fide E2 application to be filed. That could happen. But you can also file an E2 application. You can leave the country and file an E2 application from outside the country as well if the appeal doesn't get approved. An appeal or a motion can take a while, so I'm worried about what your status is. If you still continue to be in status, it's fine. You can wait for that appeal or that motion to get processed and then decide what to do. And then again, uh, since you cannot change much on an appeal, you can maybe filing a new application may be the way to go. But as of now, if you've done the appeal and you've done it through a different attorney who you are confident knows the case and is able to submit a correct application, it's good. You can also try the ineffective assistance of counsel argument that, but of course, you have to have strong reasons and uh, facts that the information submitted by the attorney was wrong and that you didn't submit that information. So anyway, grammatical errors don't cause denials, though it looks messy, but they don't really cause denials. But and I don't know what the facts are, but that's one potential way of addressing it in effective assistance of counsel, and then producing the correct documentation and explaining why the wrong documentation was given in the first place. I'm not sure why they produced a wrong business plan, who made the business plan. Usually the employer makes the business plan. So I'm not sure if there are two business plans and the attorney submitted the wrong one. So it really depends on a case by case scenario.
Absolutely. Every case is different. So, friends out there, please feel free to contact Attorney Prashanthi Reddy, and the link is displayed on the screen below. So check it out. And thank you so much, Prashanthi, for taking up each of the questions from our audiences. For answering them patiently. And in fact, we do have two more people join us, so we'll quickly address them before we leave, if it's fine with you.
Sure.
Okay. So Vijaya is asking, how much time does it take now for parents AOS after biometrics in March 2025?
Again, 12 to 18 months, it doesn't matter when the biometrics gets done because biometrics can be done at any time.
Okay. And Sid Mohan is back asking, hello for the first time. H1B visa stamping, I've heard it's suggested to get stamping done from the home country. Do you suggest getting the first time H1B stamping done in a different country?
The home country is good because they can then verify um, your degrees, especially if you have foreign degrees. If you have US degrees, then it might be a good idea to go to Canada. Um, yeah, I've not heard anything different. But of course, visas in general, there is more vetting as per the present administration's executive orders. So there is more vetting everywhere, and including the consulates as well.
Okay. Well, those were the questions from our audience and from me also, Prashanti. And before we leave, if you have anything more to add, it'll be really nice.
I think we covered everything and we answered a lot of questions
Yeah,
this
we did.
session. So I'm quite satisfied with all the information that's been given.
Us as well, I'm sure all the folks out there as well. So thank you so much. And yeah, good to have you once again. And I'm looking forward already to having you back maybe in the coming week.
Same here, Nipasa.
Sure. So, okay, bye then. Have a wonderful day ahead. And this goes out to all you folks out there as well. Thank you so much, each one of you, for joining us here on Immigration Talk Show. It was lovely having you. So, if you have any more questions, please keep commenting, keep posting, and really thanks for joining. But also, you can WhatsApp me on my number or email me in case you have more questions. My number is 408-335-6444, and my email address is nipa@staffingly.com. So this is it, and thank you so much. Keep a watch on the Visa Bulletin and all the updates because there are new rules coming up, new updates each and every day. So follow up, and for that, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Our handle is at Immigration Talk Show, and hit that bell icon so that whenever we have updates or webinars like this, you will be notified and you can join us. So thank you once again, and check us out not just on YouTube but also on LinkedIn, Facebook, X, and on Instagram. And bye for now, friends. But keep watching Immigration Talk Show.